Happy New Year to my YouTube subscribers. Welcome to the year 2021. The year we all looked forward to, hoping that, against all hope, that things will go as planned. But, we've all started this year with so much uncertainty, so much challenges around us with our job, with the new variant of the COVID-19. But that said, we just need to have faith and stay hopeful, and that's why this year, like for my last video, I am going to be starting with this book, I'm going to be talking about this book, The Boy Who Loved Too Much. The Boy Who Loved Too Much. That's the entire book, The Boy Who Loved Too Much. And why am I talking about this book today? Because, I know this is a year where so many of us are wondering, okay, what's really happening? Something I do myself is I try to take a deep breath all the time. I know this year I've really not stayed in contact with friends or family, but that said, it's a time where I think, we all need to love ourselves, love our immediate family, and show so much love to people around us. Sometimes, with all the uncertainty going on around us, with the disconnect, you wonder, who am I going to be speaking to? You wonder what people are going through. But, this is a story of a true story of pathological friendliness. Wow. When someone has pathological friendliness, I'm so fortunate. Again, I'm sure you're all bored of me talking about my profession as a special needs teacher. I have taught students like this who, no matter how much you say time out, you tell them, hey, stop it, they still say, hey, Joann, I love you. That breaks my heart because, they're friendly to everyone. They want to talk to everyone. They don't even know who a stranger is. It's funny that the topic I was supposed to be teaching this week in school is stranger danger. And, we had to, because the minute you say stranger danger, that could just raise a red flag, and then they start wondering, oh, does that mean everyone is a stranger? Or when we meet someone, there's danger? Fine, it's good to acquaint, students or our children of stranger danger. But hey, this guy, Eli, he couldn't decipher who a stranger is, or how would he say, hey, this is someone I need to be mindful of, I'm going to share a part of a story with you, how he met someone at a basketball tournament or baseball tournament. And even though the person just didn't want to connect, but Eli just needed to speak with someone. He doesn't know when, hey, there should be like that time and that space where, oh, this person just needs to stay on their own. He's someone who sees anybody, connects with everyone, wants to be everyone's friend, notwithstanding what happens, And in the special needs sports league called Buddy Baseball, Eli had tried to befriend a boy named Josh, a tiny kid who resembled a bobblehead doll in his oversized battling helmet. Josh was on an opposing team, but the teams played each other frequently, and Eli had taken a shine to him despite the fact that Josh, who had autism, seemed to find Eli's friendly overtures an acute form of torture. Imagine a kid on the spectrum now finding someone who has pathological friendliness. Sometimes kids on the spectrum want to stay on their own. They don't want to have those conversations. They just want to stay in their little bubble. At one springtime game, Eli was playing second base when Josh hit a double, which Eli believed presented the perfect opportunity for them to catch up. "Hi, Josh," Eli shouted, welcoming him to the base. In reply, Josh held his hands out stiffly as if pushing Eli words away. Sometimes I try to reach some of my students on the spectrum and they go like, hey, Joann, stay there, just hold it. You know, even sometimes the ones who don't have the voice to say it out, you could see them stretch out their hands like, hey, don't come into my space, you know. Or so in reply, you know, as if pushing Eli's words away, and screamed. This didn't strike Eli as antisocial. He continued the side of the conversation in the same pleasant tone. How are you doing, Josh? He asked. Ah! Josh shrieked, his face scrunching in fury. It's nice to see you. Josh screamed again. Ah! How was your vacation? Ah! Finally, the next batter hit a line drive and Josh bolted to third, then made a dash for home. Eli applauded gleefully. You see, the context of the story is that Eli did not even notice that Josh didn't want to have that conversation, but he still continued. Even when Josh hit the base and made a dash for home. And you can see how Eli, who is even on an opposing team, waved and applauded Josh. You see, that is the pathological friendliness. Josh, if you read this book, I mean, when I read this book, I wondered myself, how can someone just cannot decipher when somebody is angry, he wants to make friends with everyone, even when he's in the dining or he's in the cafeteria and people push him away, he still insists on sitting down there. And that was one of the greatest concern of the mom, you know. The mom is not the author. The author is Jennifer Latson. Jennifer Latson actually studied Eli and the mother over the years. And I know the mother's greatest concern was like, hey, when I'm not here, or when Eli grows to a certain stage in his life, how is he able to deal with people who want to push him away, or people who will take his friendliness for granted? And I'm sure there's some of us who don't have this pathological friendliness, but we've come to spaces where people take our friendliness, our smile, our reception, our open hearts, our open hearts, you know, for granted. But that doesn't stop us from being friendly, especially at this time with this unprecedented times. You know, you wonder, hey, where will I get my next meal? What will happen the next day? What if I'm out of job the next minute? You know, we all need to stay friendly, stay positive, you know, develop strategies that how we can navigate this context, this time. You know, I'm sure I'm not saying if the whole world was like Josh or Eli, especially Eli, what will the world be like, really, if the world had so many people who had that friendly attitude, that friendliness, not because I'm becoming friends with this person because of what I can get from this person, but because I just want to stay friends. I derive joy from knowing that my next person is happy, you know? And so I would encourage everyone, I'm going to end with this statement from this book. It would have been impossible to convince him otherwise, since his definition of friendship was nothing like his mother's or the dictionary. It didn't depend on shared interest or mutual affection. A friend was simply someone he'd interacted joyfully with, a definition that encompassed nearly everyone. Meaning everyone was Eli's friend. Hey. I mean, if we have to take time and reflect on that statement alone, how much of someone, or can you say, or how many people around us can you say, this person is actually a friend I can count on, a friend I can rely on, especially at this time? You know, I want you to, don't forget to subscribe, share this video with people, And most importantly, like I mentioned over and over again, I'm sharing my passion of reading. And this is one book, I think maybe I read it 2 or 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And, the thing is that I buy a book on one of the platforms, and the next thing they recommend, hey, since you bought this book, you need to read this book, and then you need to read this book. And I find myself, hey, I binge on books, but maybe 2021 could just be a different time of me reading. But instead of reading, I'm writing books. But again, I have my own books which I'm writing. So for my next video, I'm going to be looking at this lovely book, The Orchid and the Dandelion: Why Some Children Struggle and How All Can Thrive. This is a book written by W. Thomas Boyce. I can't wait to talk about this book. I remember announcing this book to so many people, but hey, so subscribe and press for notifications so that when I talk about this book, you're going to be the first to get the video. So enjoy the rest of your week and see you soon.